Okay, then. Hello, everyone. Hello, guys. Am I audible? Okay, I can see a lot of people in chat. Hi, Naveen. Hi, Komal. Hi, Sadaf. Hi, Braj Gopal. How are you guys? Hi, Bhimrao, sir. How are you guys? I hope all of you are good. Am I completely audible? Is my voice completely clear? Tell me that. Because I'm doing a live stream, I think after a lot of time, maybe, I don't know, 3 4 months have been like past, and now I'm doing it on my channel, so I've done a little setup here. So I hope I'm completely audible. That's great. That's great. Okay. So first of all, hello all of you. Welcome to my first stream after a lot of time. So I'm really happy to see you guys. I'm really happy to see a lot of familiar names. So that's great. Hello Nagesh. Hello Imaz. How are you, buddy? Yes, now I'm planning to be a regular. So basically the plan is to start with CSS, mastering it completely. Okay, not only like only few topics or something like that. A lot of things will be covered. Then after that, I'm planning for JavaScript, then React, then some backend. So basically, a complete web development course. The whole thing will be live and free on YouTube. So that is what I'm planning right now. So yep, planning for it like regularly. So that's great. That's great. So yep, thank you so much, Nagesh. Thank you so much. So good evening once again, guys. Yes. All the videos, all the live video that I'll take will be available. Okay. So right now, still I'm doing a little bit of setup. So in some days, I'll be also giving you some forms where you can just give your email IDs to me, and I'll be sharing you the links of what do you say, all the video that I create, the files, the GitHub repo link, all of that stuff. Okay. So still doing a little setup. So yep, that's great. So first of all, I hope all of you are good. Okay. And today we are starting with CSS from scratch. So in the next 4 to 5 days, depends on how much you guys want to learn. I'm planning to cover everything in here, like basics, then flexboxing, then grid, then creating layouts, animations. I'm planning to cover a lot of things. So yep, I hope you guys will be available to like in all the days, in all the upcoming days of this batch, right? So that's great. Yep, thank you so much, Sadap. So now, guys, can we start, everyone? I hope all of you are good and ready. So, guys, this session I have not planned a time for this yet. So it's not like 1 hour or 1.5 hours, something like that. So basically, I will we'll start with the CSS. We'll start with the basics, and we'll see how much we can go for in maybe 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes, or maybe 1 hour 30 minutes. Depends on how much we cover. Okay, but the maximum time that will be, it will be only 1 hour 30 minutes. I'm not gonna cross more than that, because I know there is a limit of how much you can watch here, right? So yep. So I hope we can start, guys. So let's start with CSS. But again, guys, before starting with CSS, I hope you guys know a little bit of HTML. Even if you know how to create a HTML page and just create some basic image, div and all that stuff, that thing is completely fine for me. Okay, so even if you know basics of HTML, that's enough to start with CSS, because as I said, we are starting from scratch. And one more thing, guys, be very active in chat. Okay, so whatever, like if you have a question at any point of time, just ask. I'm continuously reading the chat. As you guys know me from long time, I continuously read the chats. So if you have a question at any point of time, just ask. I'll answer it on the way. Okay, so don't worry about any doubts. Just keep asking. Just please be active in the chat. That's it. And again, thank you for joining the stream. So guys, let's start. Let's start with something called as CSS. Now I know that you guys know a little bit about CSS, but that's not the issue, because we're going to cover a lot of things. Okay, so let's start, guys. So first of all, let's start with the basics so that everyone can understand everything. So let's start with something called as CSS. So what exactly is CSS? Before actually understanding that, let's just try to understand something called as this a little bit. So guys, do you know what is the full form of HTML, everyone? Come on, just put down in the chat, guys. What is HTML, or what do you think of HTML? Can you guys put down in the chat, guys? Everyone, I'm waiting. And you know, I always need answers. So come on, start giving me answers, everyone. Yes, exactly. Hypertext markup language. So that's the full form, right? Hypertext markup language. So let's try to understand what exactly is hypertext markup language, or what exactly is HTML, before diving into CSS. Let's just talk about it a little bit. So HTML is nothing but a language which helps you to create a web page and then put content in it. So as I said, HTML is just a language that helps you to create a web page and then also helps you to put content in it, right? So that's the job of HTML, creating web page and helping you to put content in it. So it's a language in which you write code which helps you to create web page and put content in it. So what exactly is a web page? So let's say I take a browser here, right? And let's say again I go to a very famous site that I always use, something called as flipkart.com. So whenever you go on a site, on a website, and just open, like you write some domain name or you write some site name and something on your browser appears, right? So this is what you call as a web page. If I click on this particular monitor, something new opens. This is what you call as a web page as well. So a website is nothing but a collection of web pages, okay? And a web page is nothing but something, a sheet, a page that you can view on the browser. And it is the job of HTML to create this web page. So as I said, HTML helps you to create web page, which you can see here, and put content in it. When I say content, I basically mean text, images, these input boxes, selection boxes, these input box, these buttons, all of that stuff. So when I say content, I simply mean it can be text, it can be images, it can be audio, it can be also video, and a lot of things, right? Paragraphs, a lot of things, different things. So that's the job of HTML, simply creating the web page and putting content on it. Now, this is something that we already know, right? And HTML is written in tags. As a language, it is written in tags. Now, this is something that we know. Now, when we only use HTML and put content on the web page, the content looks very normal. For example, just for example, if I go ahead, okay, and if I remove the CSS from this particular web page, let's say for example, I simply delete the CSS. So this is how the page will look like. You can see now, right? This is your Flipkart page by only using HTML. As I said, the only job of HTML is to put content. That's it. So here we go. Content. All the things are there, right? Image is there, links are there, text is there, everything is there, right? But you can see now the elements are not adjusted the way they were. Now they are not adjusted. They are not looking colorful anymore. They don't have any shape or size. They are not looking good. The site, the page is not looking beautiful at all. Because to make this content look beautiful, to adjust this content, to align this content, to give size and color to this content, what we need is something called as a language that works with HTML, which you call as CSS. That stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It is simply a styling language that you use with HTML that helps you to style the content that you create using HTML. When I say content, that means all these things. And when I say styling, styling simply means arranging, right? Aligning, adjusting, coloring, giving height, width, shape, size, doing some animations. All of that is possible with CSS. So that's why CSS is very important, because by only using HTML, you can just put content. So without CSS, your web page will not look good at all. And in today's date, your website should look good. Otherwise, no one will watch it because there is a lot of competition. And if you're competing, if you're creating websites and all that stuff, you need to have a good web page or a good website. That's where the client comes from, right? So I hope you understood, guys. Aniket heard a lot about your CSS skills. Thank you so much, buddy. I hope I'll be able to perform here. I hope I'll be able to do all the CSS that you have heard of. Okay, so welcome to the stream, buddy. Hi, Prakul. Hi, how are you? Okay, so guys, have we understood everything till now? Please tell me, guys. Is it understood what is CSS? So it's nothing but a language. Again, guys, it's not a programming language. It's a styling language. Okay, HTML is markup language. CSS is simply a styling language. Okay, a styling language which works with HTML to arrange, align, colorize, giving shape, size to the content like this. Okay. Now, this is the basic understanding of CSS. Now let's talk about, now again, as I said, it's a language. It's a coding language. It's not a programming language because we don't write any logic or we don't do any calculation in that. It's simply a styling language. But at the end, it is a coding language. That means there is some way to write it, because every coding language that you see, right, whether you go for C, C++, you go for SQL, you go for Python, PHP, every language has a way of writing it. So CSS as a language also has a way of writing it. So let's go and let's see how do we write CSS. So CSS is very easy because it's always written in property colon value format, and then at the end you have a semicolon. CSS is always written in this format, always property colon value. Now, just to give an example, a property can be height to something, colon 200 pixel can be value. One more property can be color, and red or blue or green can be value, right? So this is what you call as a property, and this is what you call as a value. And CSS is always written like this. That means you simply have to identify the element. So let's say I have created an image. So I identify that element, that this is the image element, and now I want to do some CSS on it. I want to stylize that image element. So you have to just think of the properties. Now CSS has a lot of properties, hundreds and hundreds of properties, right? So when we say that we are learning CSS, that means we have to understand what all those properties do and which property I can apply on which element. You cannot apply all the properties available in CSS on all the elements. For example, you cannot apply color on image. You cannot give height to a text. So we have to understand which properties can we apply on which particular element, and that's what we're going to learn in this whole tutorial, right? But again, guys, don't forget, it's always written in property colon value format. But now the question is, okay, fine. There are hundreds of properties in CSS, right? And I can choose anything from there, right? But now how to apply it? So let's say I have created an image element. I have created a paragraph element. I have created a lot of different elements. Now I want to write CSS, right? So now I want to write CSS, but how do I know how to apply that CSS onto that element? So let's go ahead, guys, and let's start learning that. Okay, again, basic, just to sum up what we have learned till now. CSS is just a language that you use to stylize your HTML content. When you say stylize, that means arranging, aligning, giving height, width, and all that stuff. CSS is always written in property colon value format. Now what we have to see is how to apply CSS onto the elements. So let's go and let's start. So for that, guys, for the whole thing, I'm going to be creating a folder, and this folder I'll upload on GitHub so that you guys can also get it if you want, because at the end, I'm also going to create a really great project without time bound. So we're going to create a really amazing project at the end. Don't worry about that. So let me just create a folder and I'll call it CSS. Okay, that's it, CSS. And then, and again, guys, I'm using VS Code as my editor. You can use anything if you want. You can use Sublime, you can use brackets, you can use Atom, you can use any editor you want, guys. But I would suggest to use VS Code because right now it is one of the best editors going on in the world. So I would suggest you guys to use VS Code. If you don't know where to get it, let me just show you for all the new people. So if you just search for VS Code download, you'll simply get to this link. Okay, just click on this link. And here we go. Now, depending on your system, whether you're using Linux or Windows or Mac, just click on that particular OS and it will start downloading. And once you download it, just double click and install it like a simple software. That's it. And once you have installed it, just open it up and you will see something like this. And again, guys, don't get confused. You have to write VS Code. Don't write Visual Studio because it's a different software. Visual Studio Code is this ID and Visual Studio is a separate software. Okay, Piyush told me so, sir. Looking forward to this. Amazing, buddy. Amazing. Just be here. I'll make sure that you learn a lot of things. Okay, and thank you for joining. Hi, Soumya. Hi, Yakub. And please, guys, whoever is new, please don't go without subscribing because I'm going to be coming with a lot of content. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So now that I've created that folder, let's open that folder in our VS Code. Let me just zoom it a little bit so that you can see the font size. And here we go. Let's open the folder. So it's on my desktop. Here we go, CSS. Now let's create our first file that will be in a simple HTML file. So let me just remove this. Yep. So I'm going to be calling it as index.html. Okay. So just a simple HTML file to create our web page and put content on it. That's it. And let's write some basic HTML code. And again, guys, let me just confirm. Can you guys see the font size? Everyone? Is the font size visible? Just tell me, everyone. Or should I increase it a little bit? Just give me a hint. Is the font size visible to you guys? I'm waiting for the answers. I think it's a little delayed, but that's fine. Small, okay, fine. I'll just zoom it a little bit. I hope now it's fine. Is it good now? Bhimrao sir? Is it good now? Visible? Okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay guys, so let's start. Let's start. So now, first of all, some basic HTML boilerplate code. Okay, just like you've always seen. Font size could be bigger. Okay, I'll just increase it a little bit. I hope this much is fine now. Because if I go beyond this, then it will look very big. So I hope this much is fine. Okay, hopefully for everyone. Again, guys, if you find it small, just let me know. I'll again make it big. Don't worry about that. Okay, cool. Okay, so now, right now, we don't need these meta tags. So let me just remove it. I don't need these meta tags. So here we go. And here we go. The basic HTML boilerplate, something that you all already know. Okay, this is our web page, the HTML file. I'll just simply copy the path, go in the browser and run it here. Okay, a simple white beautiful page. And let's just say CSS basics for today, because today we're going to be learning only basics, and let's see how far we can go. And let's simply create a simple H1 just to confirm that. Yep, here we go. You can see hello coming up. That means our web page is working fine. Okay, cool guys. So let's start. Now, as I said, that CSS is written in property : value format. And now we need to learn how to apply it. So guys, there are 3 ways by which you can apply CSS on HTML elements. So let's say you create HTML page, right? And you create a lot of HTML elements like paragraph, header, image, audio, video. Now you want to apply CSS onto HTML. So there are 3 ways of doing it. And it's very famous. These 3 are very famous, right? You might be already knowing this. So let me write it. The first way is the inline way, which is also called as inline CSS. The next way is internal way, which is also called as internal CSS. And the third and the most used way is external CSS. Okay, so these are the 3 most, like the only 3 ways of applying CSS onto HTML content. Internal is also called as embedded CSS. I'll let you know why do we call it that way. So don't worry about that. So these are the 3 ways, guys. Inline, internal, external. I'm going to be showing you all the 3 ways. So let's go and let's start. So now, first of all, let's go ahead and let's create a very simple paragraph just to create a dummy element. Here we go. So now we have a simple paragraph tag, and let me just remove this sidebar. The shortcut is Control B in Windows. So here we go. I have a very simple paragraph here. Cool. Now I want to apply some CSS onto that paragraph element, and I'm going to be using the first way right now, that is the inline way. Now when you say inline means writing CSS in the tag itself. Here I have my P tag, and if you're using inline way of writing CSS, that means you're going to be writing CSS in the tag itself. So let's see how to apply it. So you will go in your opening tag, okay, and just after the tag name, you'll use the attribute called as style, and that's it. Now in between these double quotes, you can write all the properties of CSS that you want. For example, there's a property called as color. Now guys, again, right now, just see how to apply CSS. In a moment, I'll be also teaching you all the properties and what they do. Right now, don't focus too much on properties. Just focus on how we are applying. So let me tell you about the color property. Color is a property which is used to color the text. Okay, that's it. It applies color on text. That's all. So right now, just understand that. In some moment, I'll be teaching you all the properties. Don't worry about that. So again, guys, the format property : value. So color is the property, colon, red can be the value, and at the end, semicolon. Save it, and here we go. You can see red is getting applied. So that's how you do it. If you want to write one more property, just continue after that semicolon, and that's fine. For example, if I want to change the font family, so the property is font-family, right? This is the property. Just give me a moment. Okay, font. I think my VS Code is misbehaving a little bit, so that's fine. Font family, and then you can choose anything. So right now, I can use any font that is already installed in my PC. I will also show you how to use some external fonts or Google fonts in the other session. Okay, don't worry about that. So font family, let's say for now, I'm going to be using Calibri. Again, semicolon at the end. And here we go. See that? The font family changed. And just like that, there are a lot of properties that I can apply on this. And you can just go on and on and on and on and just keep adding all the properties. And again, guys, a lot of people write it in this way so that it looks a little better. So you can also write it in this way, right? That's it. So that's what inline CSS is, guys. Now, I hope you have understood inline, everyone. Please just confirm me once in the chat. Just confirm me once in the chat. Aniket, Soumya, Yakub, Bhimrao sir, Naveen, Nagesh, everyone, Komal. Just confirm me once. Have you understood the inline way, everyone? So that's how you apply CSS using the inline way. Okay, that is great. That's amazing. Now let's move ahead. Now let's say I create one more p tag, right? I create one more p tag and again just write some dummy paragraph. Okay, so now I have one more paragraph, right? A simple lorem again. Okay, here we go. A simple dummy paragraph. You can see there's no CSS applied on it. Now I decide that I again want to apply the same CSS on this element. Okay, now here is the drawback of inline. That is, if I want to apply the same CSS on one more element, I cannot do that. I have to rewrite the whole thing for that tag. That means inline CSS only works for a specific tag. The same CSS cannot be used for a different element. That means if there are thousands of elements, and if you want to apply similar CSS on all the 1000 elements, you have to write it 1000 times in each and every tag. That's what inline CSS is. It works for only one tag at one time. So I have to write it 2 times if I want to apply it on both. And that's the drawback of inline CSS. And that's where comes the next way, that is internal way. Okay, so inline is good. It will work completely fine. And again, guys, it's not bad. You can use it. But the problem is, if you want to reuse the CSS that you have written for multiple elements, you cannot do that. Okay, so that's where comes the internal style of CSS. So let's see how to apply CSS internally and how it solves the problem of repeating. Okay, let's do that. So I'll just comment this tag. I'll just keep the example of inline CSS here, and I'll remove this CSS from here. And let me just write 2 p tags. Okay, just like that. So now I have 2 paragraphs. Let me just close this notepad. Okay, now you can see I have 2 paragraphs here and both of them don't have CSS. Now I want to apply CSS in such a way that it gets applied on both the elements, and I'm using the internal way. So the internal way says that if you want to apply CSS, just go above all your elements. Okay, now you can also write it here, but I would always suggest go in your head section after the title, use a tag called as style. Once you write style tag, now this area between the opening of style tag and closing of style tag is the internal CSS area. You cannot write any HTML here. You can just write CSS. That's all, guys. So don't ever try to write tags here. Okay, please don't do that. Now this is the CSS area. Now I can write CSS. So according to me, like now I'll think that, okay, fine, I can just go ahead and start writing color red, something like that. But will it work? No, not at all. Because now, see guys, in inline CSS, you were writing CSS in the tag. So the tag knew that this is my CSS. But now you're writing CSS somewhere else and your tag is somewhere else. So how will they connect? How will they know that, okay, I have to get this CSS? So for that, there is a topic that we have to understand, and that is something called as selectors. Okay, selectors. Now let's see what are selectors. So selectors are nothing but, guys, they are simply a way of selecting the element that you want to use. That's it. Simply a way of selecting the elements that you want to use or that you want to apply CSS on. So let's say I want to apply CSS on this P element. So for that, you can use its name or tag name to select this element. For example, I can just go here and I can write P. And again, guys, please don't write the tag. Please don't do that. Just the tag name P. And then open and close curly braces. And now inside this, you can write your property values as much as you want. So color red, font family, Calibri, okay, something like that. And then again, all the properties that you want, you can just go on and on and on. Now, these two properties will get applied on any element which has a name of P. So right now I have two elements with the tag name P, and that's it. Let's see if it is working. And here we go. You can see that, right? So now we have solved the problem of writing CSS multiple times. So now even if I have thousands of P, for example, now I cannot have 1000 as of now. So let me just create 4 Ps. You can see all of the 4 have the same CSS. So now the repetition issue is solved. So internal CSS has solved the repetition issue. And guys, please don't forget, this is what you call as a selector. The thing that you're using to select the element, that is what you call as a selector. And this is what you call as a tag name selector. When you're selecting a element using tag name, that's what you call as a tag name selector. So P is a tag name selector. Now you can select any element. You can select a div, for example. Let me just give an example. I have a H1 tag. So let's say welcome all, something like that. Okay. And I just go here. I can simply go ahead and write H1. That's it, tag name. And I can say color green. Now I know that it's a very bad color, like not a good color, but that's fine for now. Here we go, color green. So guys, are we cleared with the basics of internal CSS? Everyone? Hi Anirudh, good to see you too, buddy. Hi Piyush, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much, good to see you too. Guys, have you understood the basics of internal CSS? Please tell me, guys. Is the basic of internal CSS understood? So that we can move ahead to a different selectors, because still there are some problems in the internal CSS way. So we have to understand that as well. And then finally we'll move ahead to the external CSS. Cleared? Okay, that is amazing. That is amazing, guys. That's amazing. Okay, let's move ahead now. Now, the problem of repetition is solved, but with that, here comes a new problem. And the new problem is, okay, fine. Now I have 4 P tags. And if I apply CSS on P, it will be applied on all the Ps. What if I want to apply something different on this particular P? What if I want to apply something different on this particular P? How can I do that? And that's a problem, because the name of that element is also P, right? And I cannot change a name. If I want to use a paragraph, I have to use P. I cannot change the name of that. So how to solve it? So now guys, what you can do is you can give elements nicknames for selection. Now when I say nickname, that means a different name. So see, for example, let's say I have this element which is a P tag, and I cannot change this because I want a P tag, but I can give it a different name for selection. Okay, and that can be done via something called as a class. That's it. So you can use a class attribute to give your element a class, and that works as a nickname or as a different name or as a separate selector for that particular element. For example, if I just go ahead and give a class of 1. So now, if I want to select this element, I can select it either by P tag or by the name 1 or class name 1. So this is what you call as a class name. So now this element has 2 names. One, its own tag name, that is P, and the other one is 1, which is its class name. And I can select this element using its class name as well. So how to select element using class name? Very easy. Just go ahead here, write the class name 1. Now guys, whenever you write anything in here, the CSS area thinks of this as a tag name. So right now it's thinking that 1 is also a tag, but no, it's a class. So you have to tell the CSS that no, this is a class. And to tell CSS that this is a class, you just have to apply a dot in front of your class name. That's it, dot 1. So if your class name is, let's say, happy, you have to write dot happy. If your class name is, let's say, something like Avengers, you have to apply dot Avengers. That's it. And here we go, 1. Let's say color yellow. That's it. So now if you see that particular element, okay, yellow is looking very bright. So let me just give it some other color. Let me just give it, let's say, purple, something like that. And here we go. You can see now that is purple. But you can see that still its font family is Calibri. That means it's taking font family from here, but it's taking color from 1. And it's fine because it's still a P element and it's also having a class of 1. So it's taking some properties from here and some properties from here. Okay. But you can see that P is also having a color and its class name is also having a color. So I am a P, but I also have a class name 1, and both of my selectors have a color. So which one am I choosing? I'm giving priority to the class name. So remember guys, the elements will always prioritize the class name. Okay, don't worry, I'll have a separate discussion about like which elements give priority to what. Okay, that topic is called as CSS specificity. I'll discuss that in detail, but for now I hope you're understanding. So class name has a little more priority than tag name. Don't forget that. Okay, so right now it's taking font family from here because it's only in p tag, but it's taking color from here. Is that clear guys? So you can give class name. And the best part about class names is you can repeat it. You can give it to multiple elements without any issue. So I can also give the same class name to some other element as well. So here we go. You can see that. I can also have a different kind of element. For example, I can have a h2, right? Something like this. And I can also give it the same class. So that's the benefit of using classes. Classes is something that you're going to be using a lot. Okay, you can give the same class name to different elements as well, and that's completely fine. So is that clear guys? Everyone understood? Guys, all clear with the basic of class name? Okay, now there is one more way by which you can give some other name to your tag, and the other way is something called as ID. Okay, so you can also use something called as ID. So I can just give ID of, let's say, ELE. So guys, again, don't forget, you can give any value. Okay, it's not like fixed that okay, I'm giving one that, so you also have to give one. No, you can give any value, 1, 2, A, B, your name, any name, ELE, whatever you'd like. Just remember one thing, that never start with a number. Try to not start with a number. Okay, in between you can have number, or at the end you can have number like ELE1, 1, 2, something like that, but don't start with a number. Don't do that. Okay, it will cause a lot of issues when you try to integrate these things with programming language. Okay, so always either in between you can have a number, or at the end you can have a number, but don't put numbers at the start. Okay, so here we go. I'm giving it an ID of ELE. Let's see, let's go ahead and let's apply some CSS using the ELE ID. Okay, so again ELE, but again guys, the CSS thinks of this as a tag name. So to let CSS know that no, this is an ID, you just have to put a hash at the start, and that's it. Now the CSS will know that it's the ID, and now I have to select an element which has ID of ELE, and that is nothing but this particular P element. Okay, so let's apply some CSS to that. So color of, let's say, blue, something like that, or let's say sky blue, a little lighter. And here we go. You can see that the first one is sky blue. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, I hope you have understood ID. Okay. So now you might have a question that, okay, fine, if I can give class and ID, like, then what's the difference, right? What's the difference? So the difference is you can repeat classes, but you cannot repeat IDs. IDs are for uniqueness. That means once you give an ID to someone, for example, if I have given ELE ID to this P, I cannot repeat the same ID for some other element. It will work, but according to W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium, that the authority that keeps track of the updates and everything about HTML and CSS, according to them, it's an error, right? So as a developer, you don't want to do that, because once you launch your site, the search engine and all that, people find your site, like they might find your site malicious with wrong code and all that stuff. So please follow the semantics. Never ever repeat the same ID again for some other element. Don't do that. That's why you have class names. Okay, that's why just avoid IDs. If you can, avoid IDs. Don't use IDs for your CSS. Tag names and class names are enough. Is that clear, everyone? I hope you have understood. But you can use IDs, but I would just suggest that avoid it because you cannot repeat it. And in CSS, you might want to repeat a lot of times. Okay, so just avoid IDs. Hello, Kaushal. Hello, Prathamesh. Okay. Yes, Rajendra, I'm planning for responsive as well, and I'm also planning for animations. Yes, so I'm going to be teaching you responsiveness, media queries and all that stuff. So don't worry. All of that is in the plan. Okay, as I said, this particular CSS from scratch course will go for like 4 to 5 to 6 days. So yes, responsiveness will be there. Okay guys, are we clear with this? One last thing, that is, you can also give multiple classes to the same element. That is something you cannot do with IDs, right? So I can also have, like, let's say 1, and let's say I call it Thor. So now this particular P element has 2 classes. One is 1 and one is Thor. To give 2 classes, guys, just give a space. That's it. Don't write one more class attribute. Please don't do that, okay? Just give a space. So a single element can have n number of class names. 10, 20, 30 class names. You will never need that much. Maybe sometimes you might need if you're using Tailwind and all that in future. But again, guys, you can have n number of class names. So that's why always go for class names while working with CSS. Don't go for IDs. But again, guys, I hope all the basic selectors are cleared. So now I hope that you know how to select elements using tag name, how to select element using ID, and how to select elements using class name. Tell me, guys, everyone, I want answers from everyone. Guys, come on. Are we cleared with everything? All the basic selectors? There are some advanced selectors as well that will come along the way while we are learning everything. But I hope all of this is cleared. Amazing, amazing, guys. Amazing. Okay. Now, guys, let's talk about the third way. Okay. But before that, let's discuss one more problem with internal CSS. Now, the problem is your CSS, when you have a big web page like Flipkart, like Amazon, your CSS might go to thousands of lines. Okay. So let's say your CSS is also going thousands of lines and your HTML is also going thousands of lines. Now the problem will be your page will become very big. So at the time of loading, it might take a lot of time, right? And also while coding, if the page is of like 3,000, 4,000 lines long, you have to scroll up, down, up, down, up, down continuously, right? So that's a problem, right? The coding standards are decreasing. You might be unable to handle the code because you have to just go up and down. Some things might be lost. Code maintainability will become a little tough. And that's where the external CSS comes. It is exactly similar to internal CSS. The only difference is internal CSS, you write it inside the HTML page. That's why it's also called as embedded CSS. You write it inside, you embed it inside the HTML page. External CSS simply says, write your CSS in a separate file. Don't mix it with your HTML file. That's it. So let's do that. Let's see. So now just go and we'll create a different file, and this file will be completely dedicated to CSS. That's why the extension of this file will be also .css. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just go here. Again, guys, you can give any name. So I'm going to call it style.css. Now this file is completely dedicated to CSS. That means you no longer have to write any style tag or something like that here. Please, guys, don't write any tags here. You can simply copy the CSS from here. Okay. And we can just go ahead and paste it here. That means all my CSS will be exactly like internal CSS. That's it. And now I can remove the style tag. I don't need it anymore. But now the problem is, guys, my CSS is in a separate file and it's not working. Why it's not working? Because these files don't know about each other. They are in the same folder, but they don't know about each other. So if you're creating a separate CSS file, the important thing is these files should know about each other. That means they should be linked. And to link a CSS file, you simply go in your head tag and just use a tag called as link. Link in HTML is simply used to link a lot of things. Link different resource file. CSS file is one of them. Okay. So link relation style sheet. That means the file that you're linking is a style sheet, right? It's a styling file. So it's a style sheet. href, that means what is the file location, right? What is the reference of that file? So it's in the same folder. That's why I can simply go for /. That means same folder. And this is my file. And once I link it, you can see all starts working. That means in writing, there is no difference. The only thing is you write it separately and then you just link it. And that's it, guys. That's how you write external CSS. And now, even if you have 2,000, 3,000 lines of CSS, it's in a separate file. Your HTML will remain clean and your CSS will also remain clean, and it will be much more easier to handle them. Okay. So guys, have we cleared everyone? So these are the 3 ways of how you can apply CSS on HTML elements. And now is the time to really see what are the different properties available in CSS and how we can use them perfectly. Guys, are we good with the 3 ways of applying CSS? Everyone? Hopefully. Hi Arbaz, how are you, buddy? Good to see you here. Guys, all cleared? Everyone, please tell me. Are we cleared with the application? Okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. And again, guys, just an information that I wanted to give you, that you can also share my streams and my channels with your friends so that they can also come here and learn. Okay, so again, if you feel like, please do share the channel and the videos, okay, to your friends and to your colleagues, or if you're in college, to your college friends and all, everyone. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for that. Please do that. Okay, now guys, let's move ahead and let's talk about the amazing things, the CSS properties. Okay, so now then, let me simply go here and let me remove all of this from here, because now I no longer need these basic p tags and h2 tags. I only use them to learn basic CSS. Now we'll use amazing tags like sections, divs, and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm also going to be removing all of this from here. Okay, so now I have a blank HTML page, a blank CSS page. Okay, now let's see. Let's start learning different CSS properties. Okay, and we'll start with something called as container tags. Okay, now guys, I really hope that you know what are container tags, as I'm assuming that you know HTML. But again, if you don't know, don't worry, I'll talk about them. Okay, so container tags in HTML are the tags which help you to create sections or boxes. Sections and boxes on your website are one of the most important things on your web page. For example, if I just have to show you, if I go on Flipkart, okay, you see this blue bar, right? That's nothing but an area, a section, a box. You see this white bar? That's also simply a box. Hi Zubair, how are you, buddy? You can see this white box, right? So if you go onto any site, you will always see your site divided in sections and boxes. You can see this is inside a box, this is inside a box, this is inside a blue box, right? And some boxes you can see, some boxes you can't. Like you can see this white box, right? But this white box, this is there, but all these elements are also in their separate boxes. We can't see them, but they are. Okay, so these containers and boxes help you to divide your page and manage your content and align your content in a good way. So container tags or boxes are one of the very important things when you're learning web designing. If you want to create web page, you should know about all these boxes and container tags. So let's go and let's see how to create these boxes or containers in your web page and how to start layouting your web page, right? Let's go, guys. Again, there are a lot of different tags to create these boxes. Okay, there are a lot of different tags. So you have something called as a header tag, something called as a footer tag, right? Something called as a main tag, a section tag, a div tag, right? These are just few names. There are a lot of different tags. But again, guys, all of them just create boxes. That's it. So please focus that, guys, they are not different. They just have different names, okay, so that you use them in proper places. Now, initially, they were not there. In HTML version 4, they were not there. There was only something called as div. So to create any box, you will always go for div. But now you have header, you have footer, you have main. Again, they are not doing anything new, guys. They are all boxes. It's much more easier for the search engine to read it with proper names, right? So if you want your web pages to be optimized according to the SEO, make sure that you give proper names. But again, if you only talk about creating, you can simply use the div tag to create your whole page. But if you want to follow semantics, if you want to follow good coding standards, use different tags. But first of all, let me show you how to use them, right? So let's use a simple div for now. Okay, so let me create a simple div tag. Now again, guys, see, you won't see any output for div because it's creating a box, but that box is not having any height, any width, any color. So you cannot see it. So guys, let's see how to use CSS to give it a height, a width, and a color. So first of all, now again, guys, I can simply use its tag name, but in future, I might have a lot of divs. So I'm going to give it a class. Okay. Hi, Dhanesh. How are you, buddy? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. So let's give it a class and let's call it ELE1. Again, you can give it any name. I'm just calling it element1. So ELE1. Now let's go dot, right? It's a class name. So dot ele1. Now in CSS, to give a height, there's a property called as height. So simple, right? Height. And then if I want to give it any height, just any value, so let's say 300. Now guys, in computers, the measurement is mainly counted in or measured in pixels, okay? But there are different units available in CSS. But for now, let's stick to pixels, because you know your screen is also measured in pixels. So px is the basic unit in CSS. And I can also give it a width. Let's say 300 pixels. That means height and width is same. Let's go. Now it's there, but I can still, like, I can't see it because it is not having any color, because by default, all these boxes have transparent colors. Okay. So if you want a color, just use a property called as background color. So guys, again, if you want to give any background color to any box or container element, just use background color. Please don't use color, because color is used to color the text. Okay, so background color, let's say sky blue, and save it. Here we go. Okay, so now you have a box, guys. You can see that you simply have a box with a height of 300 pixel and with a width of 300 pixel. So basically it's a square, but again, it's up to me. I can make it 1000 pixels, and here we go. I have a rectangle now. Is that clear, guys? It feels like back to class again, sir. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much. It feels like I'm in the same zone again. So yeah, coming live after a lot of days. So guys, are we clear with the basic box creation? Now to prove you that all those tags that I mentioned, main, section, all of them, just create boxes. Let me show you that. Let's create a section tag. Okay. And let's give it a class of ele2. Okay. And here we go. I just go here, dot ele2. Same stuff. I can give any height. So let me just give it 200 pixels. I can give any width. So let me just give it 1000 pixels. And background color, let's say blue. Now see that, guys? Okay, I think I gave 100. Let me just give it 1000. Okay, here we go. See that? Simple. Just a box. That means this section, this div, they are same. But depending on the semantics, you have to choose which one to use, depending on where you're working and what are you working on. So header, footer, main, all of them will just create box. It simply means that if you're creating the header, the top part of the page, use a header tag. If you want to create this bottom area of your page, use a footer tag. Again, you can still use div tag, there's no problem, but just to follow the standards. Okay. For these stuff, go for section. Best of electronics section, beauty, food, toys section, shop for cool summer section. So for these things, you can go for section tags. And for these small compartments in the section, you can go for div tags. And again, guys, it will come with experience. So don't think that you can always go for perfect way. I don't even know that if I always use the perfect way of creating web page. It's not like that. You will slowly learn it. So guys, are we cleared with this? Everyone, how to create basic boxes, height, width, and background color? All cleared, guys? Everyone? Because this is the core of layouting. Right now, what we have started is the core of layouting. Okay? Yeah, definitely, Naveen, definitely. When I start building the project, I will definitely try to show you guys the best possible way of how to start with designing stuff. Okay, don't worry about that. And throughout the session, we'll be discussing that. So yeah, definitely. So guys, are we cleared with the basic box creation or container creation? Because this is the core of layouting. The whole web page depends on this, right? And now we're going to be talking about a very, very important stuff. That is something called as box model. Okay, so I'm really excited for that, because that is something that a lot of people don't know. Even though they are working with CSS, they sometimes don't know about what is box model and how it works. So I'm going to be discussing that as well. So can we move ahead, guys? So let me just remove this section. I don't need it right now. Now I hope that you guys know that all of them are literally the same. Okay, I'll remove the CSS for that as well. Yes, Rajendra Singh. Yes, buddy. Classes will be regular. So this particular course, I think it will go for 6 days mostly. 6 to depends on the content. Again, there's nothing fixed as of now, as I've just started it. So I'll plan out the things. But yeah, mostly it will be regular. Yes. Till the time we finish enough CSS so that you can start building web pages. Cool. Okay. Now then, guys, let's move ahead. Okay. Now, on the web page, okay, let me just decrease the width of this as well. Let me again go back to normal 300 here. Okay, cool. Now I have a simple square here. Now on the web page, guys, when you create an element, not only a box, when you create an element like div or a p or something like that, height and width is not the only thing that takes up the size on the web page. There are few more things. Okay, so let's talk about that. So we also have something called as padding. We also have something called as padding. So if I give a padding of 50 pixel to this element, just focus what's happening here. See that? The size of the element got increased. But in reality, the height and width is still 300 pixel. It's just an extra 50 pixel fake size has been added on top of the element. Let me show you. Let me just remove the padding for some minutes, some time. Okay. And let me just put some content in here inside this div. So let me just put a simple hello. Okay, now you can see hello is starting from the very start. You can see that, right? Hello is starting from the very start of the element. Now, if I again add padding, you can see an extra 50 pixel size has been added on top of the element. The element's height and width is still same. Now, how do I know this properly? So for that, you can simply right click on your element, click on inspect. Okay, so that this window will open. Okay, this elements window. In the CSS area, just scroll down. Let me just zoom it for you. See this, guys? These are all the properties that an element takes to create size on the browser. Now you can see when I go on this, okay, let me give it some other color so that it's much more visible, because the selection color is also blue, right? Yep, here we go now. Now see, if I go on this blue area, this is the actual height and width of the element, 300 by 300, and it's still intact. That area is also called as content area. So that is the content area in which you can put the content. There will be no content above that. You cannot create any content inside the div other than this 300 by 300 area. So that's why you call it as a content area. And you can see this padding is just a 50 pixel extra size on top of that element. And you can never put any content inside it. And you cannot give it any color. It will always be same like your normal element color. So if you have given red to your element, the padding color will be also red. So padding is nothing but an extra fake size that gets added on top of the element. So are we cleared, guys? Everyone? And you can see just on top of that sits something called as border. So I can border of 20 pixel. But border also has a type. So in here I'm going to give it solid. Solid means plain border. And you can also, now the difference between padding and border is border can have different shapes, and it can also have a different color. Okay, so I can give it a color of, let's say, black. And here we go. See that? Now it's still a size. The element's size is still increasing, but border can have a different color. So you can see now 300 by 300 is the actual content area. 50 pixel is extra padding and 20 pixel is extra border. Is it clear, guys, everyone? Are we understanding this? This is very important to understand because all the layouting concept will be depending on this. So I hope it is getting understood till now. Everyone, please confirm me. In the chat, guys, everyone, please confirm me. Have we understood this content area, padding and border? Guys? Okay then, amazing. Amazing. Now, guys, you can see there is one last thing left here. That is something called as margin. Now, it's a very special property and a lot of times people get confused in it. But first of all, guys, see, margin is just like padding. The only difference is margin is invisible. It doesn't have any color. So if I just go ahead and add margin of 50 pixel, that means again, it's just like padding. It will be added on top of the border and again 50 pixel size from all the sides. But you can see it is not visible. Now it felt like the element moved, but the element didn't move, guys. 50 pixel margin has been added on all the sides. If I just go here, you can see 50 pixel on all the sides has been added. So 300 by 300 is the actual content area. 50 is padding, 20 is border, and then again a 50 pixel margin. Okay. So the real height of this element is 300, but the actual height on the web page is 50 plus 20 plus 50. That basically is 120 on top, then 300, then 120 on bottom, right? That comes around, I think, 540, something like that, right? What's the confusion, Komal? Please tell me. What's the confusion? Please tell me what's the confusion so that I can explain it properly. So let me tell you again. 300 by 300 is the actual content area. Then there is an extra fake size of 50 pixel added on top of the element, which is padding. Then 20 pixel is border, and then 50 pixel is margin. As I said, margin is again a fake size, but it's invisible. You cannot see it. That's why it felt like the element moved towards the bottom and towards the right, but it didn't move. It was simply a extra invisible size added to the element on top of the border. Is that cleared? Komal, I hope you're cleared now with this. Please confirm me. So as I said, the real height of the element is still the content area, that is 300, the real height. But if you talk about the actual height on the browser is 50, that means from the start till the end, from here till here. Now see, you know that something is invisible, but it's still getting counted, right? Because there is no content. There cannot be any content there. Let me show you that. If I create something after that div, you'll see, if I go ahead and create a h1 like hello, you'll see there's some gap here. That gap is nothing but the margin. See that? That gap is nothing but the margin. Is that cleared now? So everyone, are we cleared with this? Are we cleared how the element is taking up the size? So I think the calculating box model space on the web page can be nightmare if there are no more the box model. Yes, yes. So that's why they have given this, right? See, they have not given help for anything, but they have given help for understanding this box model. Okay, so guys, I hope it's cleared, everyone. So this is what you call as a box model, and it is for every element, not only for div, not only for what you say section. It's for every element. If I go on this hello as well, you can see there is some fake there is some margin already applied onto it. That means some elements by default also have a margin. So this element has a margin top and margin bottom. There's nothing on the left and right, but there's some margin top and margin bottom already applied to this h1 element. There are a lot of elements like this which has by default margin. Some elements might be having by default padding, but that will slowly learn. Don't worry about that. But I hope you have understood what is the content area, what is the padding, what is border, and what is margin. Hopefully everyone has understood that. And guys, that's box model simply. Okay, hopefully it's cleared. Now for some time I am gonna be removing, okay, before removing it, let me show you that if I just give margin 50 pixel, that means I'm asking for applying margin on all the sides. Okay, but if I want, I can also just do this margin left. So margin hyphen left, that means margin will be only added on the left side of the element. So here we go. See that? Now there's nothing on top, nothing on bottom, only on the left side. Okay. If I simply say padding left, so now only padding will be applied on left side. See that? See, padding is only on the left side. There's nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom, nothing on the right, only on the left side. Okay, so just like that, padding left, padding right, padding bottom, margin left, margin right, margin bottom, border left, border right, border bottom. Can we remove default values? Yes, yes, definitely. I'll show you how to remove that. Don't worry at all. Just after this, I'm going to be showing that, how to remove all these default values. Don't worry. So guys, cleared with the box model? Everyone? Cleared with the box model? Okay. Okay. Now for some time, I'm going to be removing all these extra things that I've done. Padding, border, margin, all this stuff. I'm going to be removing all this for some time. Let's remove this hello as well for some time. And here we go. Now back to normal, right? Removed everything, padding, border, margin, everything. But even if I have removed everything, you can still see there is some white gap on the top and the left side. Right? You can still see it, right? Hopefully you can see that, right? But if you go on these sides, they don't have any gap. Everything starts from the start. But in our page, we have some gap. But now I have not given anything on the element. It's only basic height, width, and color. So who is causing or who is responsible for these gaps? So let's see that. Right click, again inspect. So that's how you find out, guys. Now go on the body element and you can see body is actually having a margin of 8 pixel by default. as our h1 was having, just like that, body is also having a margin of 8 pixel. So no, I don't want it, because see, sites like Flipkart have complete, they start from start, and I don't need it. So for that, I can go in CSS and I can write that, okay, fine. Internally, they have given body a margin of 8 pixel. I don't want that. So I'll write body, please remove your margin, make it 0 pixel. And that's it. That thing is gone. And now your things are also starting from start. But again, guys, body is not the only element that has a default margin. You also saw the h1 having some margin, right? And there are a lot of elements which will have default margin. Who placed 8 pixel margin on body? It's by default. It's what the browser does. So browser does it by default. Okay? Because initially when web pages were created in the initial times, at that time we used to have some breathing space around the areas. But after that, some different layout techniques came into the role. People started creating websites full size. Fluid layout came into the play. So that's where people started removing that thing. Okay, initially by default, it comes up with some breathing space around the site so that the sites can be visible. But then people started following, what do you know, right? The fluid layout, the full page layout and all that stuff. Because a lot of animations and all the things were coming up, right? So, yep. So it's by default by the browser, it's by default by the creators for the breathing space. Okay, guys. But again, as I was saying, that body is not the only element. There are a lot of elements. So I can do this as well. Body, comma, h1, comma, p, comma. I can mention all the elements that might have margin, and I can say, no, by default, your margin should be 0. If I want, I can decide in future how much margin you should have. But by default, you all will be having 0. Because guys, a lot of times these extra margins will cause alignment issues, because we will think that they are starting from start, but they are having some extra space already, and they will cause alignment issues. That's why I want all the elements to have margin of 0 initially. But it's also impossible to write all the elements, right? So that's why you also have something called as an asterisk, which stands for universal selector. It selects all the elements at once. So if I write asterisk or star margin 0 pixel, that means now all the elements will have a margin of 0 pixel by default. In future, I can decide what should I give. But again, for now, everyone will have 0. So this is what you call as a universal selector. And again, guys, as I said, margin is not the only thing. Some elements also have a default padding, and I also don't want that. So initially, for all the elements, padding should also be 0. I will decide in future what I have to give. But again, initially, so that's why in every site that you create, this is one basic stuff that you should always do on the top of your page. Star, margin 0 pixel, padding 0 pixel. Again, there are much more things that we can do here, but we'll discuss them slowly and we'll understand everything. But for now, these are the basics, margin, padding. I hope it's cleared, guys. Everyone, hopefully everything is clear till now. Guys, all cleared? Please confirm me. Please confirm, everyone. And again, guys, all the people, if you're liking the session, if you're enjoying the session, please like the video as well. Okay. Can I use universal selector for setting font family? Yes, Naveen, it's possible. Yes, it is possible. You can use it. Can you teach dev tools and depth in further videos as it's important? Yes. I am going to do that. Yes. So in CSS, I'll be teaching working with this elements area, right? When we move ahead to JavaScript, I'll be showing you how to work with this console, how to work with this network tab, how to work with this sources, right? So yeah, slowly and steadily in all the session, I'm going to be doing that. Or maybe in future, I can have a separate session for maybe a 1 hour session just for understanding the developer tools. So I know it's very important. I have also struggled in the past for that. So I'll be definitely doing that. Don't worry. Web tech. So guys, if you're enjoying the video, please like, and all the new people, please keep subscribing and supporting. Okay. So now guys, let's move ahead to the last topic of the day. As we can see, we have already passed 1 hour. So maybe 10 more minutes. I don't want to like stop you here. Okay. Because we're going to be continuing all the topics from tomorrow as well. So don't worry about that. Are you going to come live daily? Yes, Shekhar. Mostly yes. I'm not going to say daily, but mostly yes. And please subscribe so that you will always get notified whenever I'm coming live. So yeah, mostly I'll be coming live. Yeah, daily. Yes, mostly yes. So guys, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead with some other properties as well. Now, very, very important stuff. So let's go. let me just give it a width of 1000 pixels. Okay, and let me remove this content from here. And now I can go for sky blue. I like that sky blue color. I also like red, but yeah, sky blue is fine. Okay, here we go. So you can see I have zoomed the page. Don't worry guys about this scroll. I have actually zoomed the page. Let me just go back to normal. Here we go. This is the actual size. Okay. So now I have a div of height 300 pixel and width 1000 pixels. Now very, very important stuff guys. According to layouting, inside this, okay, inside this, I can create n number of elements inside this container or inside this box. I can also create divs inside it. It's completely fine. You can create any element inside it. So let me create one more div and let me give it a class of ele1 underscore child. Basically to say that you are the child of this div because you created inside it. I hope you understand that particular terminology, right? So simply a simple class ele1 child. Let me copy this and let's apply some CSS to it. Let's also give it some height of, let's say, 200 pixels and a width of 300 pixels and a background color of red. Now, since I have created this element inside this div, it will be also created inside that. Here we go. See that? That red element is created inside the blue element. That means this red element is the child of this, this red element is the child of this blue element, right? I can say that, right? This red is the child of this blue element. Perfectly fine. Now, let's talk about one more unit of giving height and width. Right now, I have given it 300 pixels. So it's simply taking 300 pixels. Now see guys, always remember that pixels are fixed. Pixels are always fixed, no matter what is the screen size. For example, if I just decrease my screen size, you can see it is fixed. It's not changing. If I come here, I get a scroll bar. Because 700 is 700, it will never change. 1000 is 1000, 200 is 200. Pixels never change. Pixels are fixed. If my screen size goes smaller, I'll get a scroll bar. If my screen size goes bigger, right, I'll get some gaps. So pixels are fixed. What if I want, let's say in this case, I want this child element to depend upon the parent for its height and width. Right now, I have simply given it 300 pixel. But I want this child element to depend upon the parent. That means if in future the parent becomes smaller, you should also become smaller. If the parent becomes bigger, you should also become bigger. For example, let me give it 500 pixel. Right? Here we go. Perfect. Now let's say if its parents becomes 500, see, no effect to the child because that's also 500. If my parent goes 200, no effect to the child. Child is bigger than the parent. Right? So that's one thing I want to tackle. And for that, guys, what you can do is, let me again go back to 1000. I can start giving width to the child in a different unit other than pixels because as I said, pixels are fixed. So I can use a unit of percentage. I can go ahead and give it 10%. And as soon as I give it 10%, see what happens. Now, this means if I'm giving this element a width of 10%, it will take 10% width of its parent element. Now, who is the parent of ele1? It's this ele1. Who is the parent of ele1 child, guys? It's this ele1. So what is the width of ele1? The parent, 1000 pixels. So ele1 child will take 10% of 1000, that is 100 pixels. And here we go, it's 100 pixels. If I give it 20%, see? If I give it 50%, half of the parent. Is that clear, guys? Are we understanding this? And now you'll see, as I've said, that you will always be 50% of your parent. Percentage is always relative to the parent. Okay? You give me 50%, I will take 50% of my parent, no matter what is the size of the parent. So if my parent becomes 500, I will still be 50% of my parent. If my parent becomes 200, I will still be 50% of my parent. If you become 1300, I will still be 50% of you. Is that clear, guys? So now if my parent grows big or small, the child is also growing big, small accordingly. That's how the percentage is helping you. Guys, are we cleared with this? Everyone, please tell me, please confirm me this. Are we cleared? Everyone? Guys, Cleared with this, everyone? Just confirm me once. What if I want to manage the size using REM instead of pixels? Yes, Arbaz, that's completely fine. But I would not suggest you to use REM or EM mostly for widths. But again, you can, it's not, I'm not denying that you cannot use it. You can go ahead and use it. But mostly for working with textual sizes, we go for EMs and REMs. For width and height, we generally go for pixels, percentages, viewport height, and viewport widths. For fonts, for text, for line heights, we mostly go for EMs and REMs. Okay? But again, it's up to you. You can simply use it. But personally, I always go for pixels and percentages and viewport heights and viewport widths. Okay, guys. Now let's move ahead. Now, you can see that, okay, fine. ELE1 child's parent is ELE1. Okay. Now, ELE1's parent is body. And body is by default as big as the screen. You can see that. Body is by default as big as the screen. If I go on the body, you can see that body is as big as the screen, right? So what if I give ELE1 a width of 100%? That means 100% of your parent. That means 100% of your body. So now it's covering the whole body. And guys, you should know that body gets smaller depending on the screen size. And since body is getting smaller, this element is in percentage, it's also getting smaller. And since this is getting smaller, this child is also in percentage and that will also get smaller. And here we go. You can say this is kind of responsive because the width of the elements are changing depending on the screen size or the browser size. Body, screen, viewport. You can say body, viewport, and then screen. You can say it like that. Body, because screen is the hardware thing, right, that you see. So body, then viewport, then screen. Then, okay, so you can say it like that. Actually, it can also go like this. Body, screen, yeah, fine, yeah. Body, viewport, screen. Body, viewport, then screen. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, have we understood this? So now, the parent of the blue element is body, and body's parent is your browser. So if the browser is going small, if the screen size is going small, your blue element is getting small. And if a blue element is getting small, because it's in percentage, the red element is also getting small. And that's how it works. That's the one basic point of responsiveness. So are we cleared, guys? So always try to give width in percentages. Always do that because you want your site to work in different sizes, right? Some people might open your site in mobile phones. Some people might open your site in PCs. Some people might open your site in big TVs, right? And you want your elements to increase or decrease their width, right? Sizes and shapes depending on the screen size. And percentage helps a lot. Percentage is not the only thing that you can use. And that's not the only thing that you will always do. There are a lot of things that you still have to do, right? But percentage makes it a little easier to make your things responsive. So guys, are we cleared with this, everyone? Understood this unit of percentage? And don't worry, we're going to be discussing a lot of other units as well. I'm also going to be talking about EM and REM when we start working with fonts and line heights. So guys, are we cleared with this, everyone? Okay. So is all cleared? Whatever we have learned today, is all of that cleared? Now we'll take the next 5 minutes for your doubts and for your questions. And guys, this will always be in the session. Always the last 5 to 10 minutes will always be for your questions. And again, guys, we have just started this series today, Master CSS. We have tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about how display works, how flexboxing works, and we will also create our first layout. Then on the next day, we'll talk about text. We'll see how to work with text, images, and all that stuff. Then on the 4th day, we'll be creating an amazing project. Then again, we'll be talking about something called as grids. Then we'll go ahead and learn responsiveness and then animations. So basically, after all these 5-6 sessions, you will be ready for your web designing journey. Okay, so don't worry about that. As I said, we are definitely going to master CSS. As the name of the series is, right? Mastering CSS. So definitely we'll be mastering CSS. Tomorrow, same time, Shekhar, 7:30 p.m. Exactly the same time, 7:30 p.m. It will be always 7:30 p.m. So guys, all the new people who were there, please subscribe before you go. And yes, Media Query, Nagesh, yes. I'll be showing how to use Media Query to make your sites perfectly responsive. Yes. And CSS is not the only thing, guys. After CSS, we'll be moving to JavaScript, then we'll be moving to other frameworks. I'll be showing you how to create APIs using Express, Node.js, then React, then Angular, a lot of things. Okay. So yes, now we can take the next 5 minutes for doubts, guys. So if you have any doubts, please start asking. Okay. Otherwise, you can suggest me a few things that you want. Tell me if you have enjoyed this stream or not. Okay. Please tell that, please, guys. Ask your questions, give your feedbacks. Okay, let's take the next 5 minutes and let's talk. Let's actually talk. And guys, please do share these things with all the people, because right now Just channel is very small. So it will also help me grow, help us grow, and I'll be able to help more people in learning all these things. Okay, and all of this will be free. Don't worry about that. Everything will be on YouTube. Okay. So guys, please do share with your college friends and everyone. College friends, colleagues. Yes, definitely. Once we finish CSS, the confident, and once we finish CSS in the next 6 sessions, just after that, we'll be starting with JavaScript. Is there CSS preprocessor? Yes, you have SCSS. But to learn that, you still need CSS. So even if you want to use SASS, SCSS is the file extension. Even if you want to use SASS, you still need to learn CSS, because in SASS also you write CSS. SASS is just a preprocessor, which helps you to integrate a little bit of programming and reusability in CSS. So you still need to learn CSS if you want to use SASS, because it's completely CSS at the end. Thank you so much, Jyoti. Thank you so much. So guys, I hope everyone enjoyed the session. Please let me know in the chat. That gives me motivation to bring back everything, bring everything in these sessions. So please let me know in the chats if you have enjoyed the session, and also ask your questions if you have. All good, guys? Everyone? All good? No questions? Nothing? Okay. I really hope to see all of you tomorrow as well. So today we had, I think, around 13 to 15 people. So I will expect all of you to be here tomorrow as well, because tomorrow is very, very important day, guys. Each growing day will be very, very important, because tomorrow we're going to be covering flexboxing and the first layout. We'll be creating our first layout tomorrow as well. So guys, please share with your friends, ask them to come. And if you see anyone wants to learn, please share the channel to them as well. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. I really hope you guys enjoyed. You guys were amazing. I hope to see all of you there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye from this side, guys. See you tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much, Shekhar. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Gagan. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'll see all of you tomorrow. 7:30 p.m., guys. Don't forget. Please share. Bye-bye, everyone. And if you're new, please subscribe, guys. Please subscribe. Okay? Bye-bye, guys. Have a great night, all of you. Have a great night. Good night.